What is going on, guys? So today was pretty exciting. Started the day off with a call out for Bardic, and yeah, that's a good start to the day, I would say. This place might look familiar. This is where I brought my other Bardic. I caught in the drain and took it to Native Animal Rescue, and they nursed him back to health, and I got to release him back out here. So we're back up here. That is where I let the other Bardic go, so chances are that thing would have moved on and gone way away from here. But these roof linings behind me here, it was one of those houses that I got this Bardic from. Now I told them that the chances of them getting another snake is very slim until the rest of this development here pushes all of the animals that way. So it is unfortunate, but this is what we do as humans. And my house has done it, your house has done it. We've taken over land of animals that used to be there. So yeah, I can't really tell them to stop. I just wish we could look after animals a little bit better than we do. So I'm gonna let this little Bardic go. I'm gonna push him down this track here and hopefully he stays away from people. Although for us, we could walk through this in, you know, a matter of minutes. For the snakes, they don't always travel in a straight line. This is quite a giant spot, so chances are that this guy will be alright until they start developing all this area. So maybe they'll leave this bit alone. Who knows? And there you go. This is a nice little orange Bardic. The bottom of them looks very coppery or like a rusty color. When you get them in the sun, they're actually really pretty snakes. So we'll let this guy go on his way. Ready? You go that way. No, this way. Yeah, that way. Come on. He's doing it again. There we go. Come. Like that, you wouldn't even know there was a snake in there. There could be hundreds of them, and we've walked past hundreds of them and not even noticed that they're there. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Snakes have had millions of years of practice on hiding from predators. We are a predator. We are not their food. They don't want to eat us, especially not in Perth. We don't have anything that gets big enough to eat us. Don't be scared and think that snakes are trying to get you, because you've probably walked past thousands of them and never even known that they were there. Well, that was another successful Bardic release, and a nice browny red one. My first one that I ever got was a very dark grey, and I've had like a couple of, I don't know, you'd explain it as like a blue metal grey, so very bluey grey. And then the one that I found in the drain over there was a bit of a darkish brown. And this one was a nice red colour. So that's pretty cool. So snakes come in all different colours for all different reasons. The main two reasons would be camouflage, so whatever helps them blend in more. You find in certain areas some of the carpet pythons are a little bit more yellow and some of them are a little bit more brown. Some of them can be a lot darker. It all depends on where they are. Also, another big factor is how they get their heat. So snakes are cold-blooded. They need heat from an external source, and the easiest way to do that is to have darker colours. So some snakes have darker colours, like the black-headed pythons, in certain areas, so they can get as much heat as they can, or as they possibly can, from very little exposure to the sun. Because as good as it is to be out here sunbaking, getting 100% of the sun, you're not very covered. Any nasty predator can come past and bite you. So snakes have evolved over millions of years to perfect these methods of hiding away from people, being able to stay as hidden as possible, and they're not about to just give it up to chase you around. Everything has one shot in life, and snakes are no exception to that. All they want to do is eat, sleep, breed, and repeat. So that is their point in life, is to stay alive. So that they're very good at doing that. I'm gonna head off home and we'll see what else comes our way today. The thing that I brought yesterday, the old wine vat that I'm gonna be using as a pond for question marks. It has a hole at the bottom for draining. So with the wine, there's a tap on the bottom, they make the wine and they drain it through the bottom and all the wine comes out. Pretty self-explanatory, gravity pushes it through. That's the easiest way to empty a tub. So unfortunately that hole was cut into an oval shape. I'm not sure whether or not they accidentally cut it and tried fixing it or whatever, but we have to figure out a way to fill that hole up, because none of the fittings that I have or any of the fittings that I've been able to find fit that actual hole. I'll show you the hole when we get home and the problem that I'm running into. Hopefully what we've got is enough to fix it. If not, I just spent whatever I spent on that vat and whatever I've spent on trying to fix it for nothing, and I'll turn it into a bobby pit or something like that, or a veggie garden. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna throw it out. I won't cry about it if I can't fix it, because I knew what I was getting into when I saw it, but it was cheaper than buying a pond of that size. And if it works, I'll be absolutely stoked. Temporarily hold a few things in it later, and then later on down the track, it might just be a summer house for cichlids, or you know, temporary holding house for like a quarantine tank for other animals or something like that. So it only needs to last a year, and then we can retire it to whatever it wants to be. I thought I would do it today because I am going away tomorrow, and if I do it today and get it all sorted, by the time I come back on Sunday afternoon, I should be able to throw water straight in it. Everything that I put in there, like the silicone and the glue or the goo stuff that I'm using, will have enough time to set. It all should be set, aired out and everything, and then I clean the tub out and start filling it up with water. I was a little bit excited to find one thing that I didn't actually know existed, but I'll show you that in a second. Let's go home. You know how I said I wasn't going to stress about this thing not working? I'm starting to stress. The thing that I was super excited about finding, which might help me later on down, was this stuff. Now, I have this stuff and I used it on my shed, but it wasn't this one exactly. I was just going to use the other stuff and not even look if there was anything like this, and then just coat it in silicone and hope that it didn't leak through. But this one, on there somewhere, it says, where did it say it? This one right here, that it is suitable for drinking water, which means that if it's suitable for drinking water, it is suitable for animals. That's pretty cool, so I'm a bit excited about that. I've drilled the hole bigger to try and fit the thing in, and then I'm just going to fill in the gaps with this stuff. But because it's so close to the bottom, I've had to cut this as well so it doesn't touch the bottom of the tank on the inside. On the outside it's fine, but on the inside it's very tight. So let's go in there and see if this one works. So the bit that I'm struggling with is that they have a recess in here, not like lunchtime recess, but like an indent, so it's easier to seal things like this into. But because they've cut off the side, we can't really use that, so we've got to make up our own way to fix something into it. You don't get what I'm talking about? Sorry, this thing keeps rolling. It's this here. So the tub comes out around there, and then there's this flat bit here. So it makes it easier for things like this to seal to. But I'm gonna get that in there, I'm gonna have to sand some of this back down here and down there, fill it up with that putty, let the putty dry, and then absolutely with silicone and hope that it holds water. If it leaks a tiny bit, like a few drops, that's fine. We'll just count that as an auto water change system. But I really hope that it doesn't leak, so. I can see why having this tub with wine in it would be a pain in the butt. Water's cheap and easy to replace, wine not so much. I'm gonna cut out the plastic with this, which I thought I had a sanding disc, but I don't have one anyway. And then I'm gonna just rough up the surface with this, and hopefully everything will stick to it. Alright, so I'll show you what I mean. This is the hole, so this is the fitting. That side may have been my stuff up, but that's alright. If you see through here, even though that hole there isn't touched, there is a lip on this one. And I'm going to use that kneaded stuff to fill in that gap there. And then this screws on the top. I'm hoping that this here, so this is the fitting that goes on the outside, and they've got two rubber rings which I'm going to pack full of silicone. That these two bits, because there's one here and then one on the inside, that they squeeze in that putty that I brought, and that'll hold that all together. Unfortunately, you won't be able to take this out, but that's okay, because if I can't take it out because it's not leaking, then I'm fine with that. And on the end of that bit there, we're going to screw on this, and
There's a hose there on top.
What are we doing?
There's a hose on top.
And then we're going to put a hose on top, and then we'll put it.
In top.
And Indy says the same. What are we doing?
I didn't on top.
Okay, so we're going to put a hose on top, and then we'll put a tap on that, and then that's where we'll be able to do water changes from. So hopefully this works. So I'm going to start mixing this. It comes in a 2-part tube, and then you just squish it together and mix it. If you haven't seen it, I'll actually show it to you. So it's a 2-part thing, this blue stuff and the white stuff. You knead it together, and then in a couple of minutes it sets like absolute rock. So hopefully by the time it sets, I've figured out what I'm doing. So I got to fill in that gap and that gap there, and just put a whole bunch on the inside around there, and make it work. So you either see me crying or you'll see me going, yay, we did it. And hopefully it works. I was just cleaning out my reptile enclosures, so you know, spot cleaning a lot of the poop out, and replacing all the water and cleaning the water bowls, because I am going away for the weekend. But these snakes will be perfectly fine over the weekend. I was sorting out the reptiles and checking on the tub. I hope that tub works. I'm pretty skeptical about it, but yeah, we'll see what we can do with it. But now, I got a call out for a lady that, well, not for a lady, I got a call out for a snake from a lady who lives up in Two Rocks. I kind of said yes without really thinking about it, because I'm one of the most north catchers. There is a few others up this way, but it's not like if it was, you know, closer to the city, there's heaps of people to choose from. So I was like, oh, I'll do it. I'm not going to be able to find somebody else. And if I do find somebody else, it might take me a while. So I was like, oh, I'll do it. And then I put it in my phone, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like 30 minutes away. But thankfully, I know some shortcuts, which will allow me to get there a little bit quicker. And hopefully we'll be able to get it. So the reason why I'm going out to this one is because it's in a bird aviary, and they've got chicken wire or snake wire or whatever you call it around the bottom, so she doesn't know how it got in there. Chances are is it's gotten in there, it's eaten something, and it cannot make it back out. So it's not something that I can just say, look, it'll move on and you won't have a problem, because mainly the snakes that come into your house, they're just passing by. They're not like, oh, I'm moving in here. So yeah, they're just passing by. But when they get stuck in aviaries and stuff, sometimes they'll squeeze through a tiny, tiny, tiny gap, and they'll only just make it through there. But once they're in there and they actually eat something, then they no longer can get out because they're slightly bigger, because there is something inside them. So either they have to regurgitate it or they have to stay in there. And it'll take it a couple of days to get it down to size where it can get out. What if it was to digest the prey item, and then they had already fixed the hole in the wire without knowing that the snake was in there, and now the snake can't get out at all. So that's the reason why I'm going out to this one. In the aviaries, it's kind of a little bit more important because they are trapped. Alright, well, I will see you guys in a minute, and hopefully we'll be there by then. Oh, I see her. Yeah, I see her. This place is actually cool. She said that they dug in the mesh and stuff, but I was not thinking that it was this extreme. It's like on all of their fences. So they've definitely done the right thing, but it still managed to make it in there. We managed to pull it out, and hopefully I can get some videos of this, because it's very banded, so it looks pretty cool. So finding a spot to put this guy, it's kind of tricky, but really not that tricky in an area like this, because it's all bush around here, so there's really not much we can do for not releasing them near a house. I mean, you can, but I'm gonna release him just into this little bit of bush here, and hopefully he will stay out of people's yards. Actually, I'll cross over to here because I'm pretty sure that's the park and there's a house that way. So I'm gonna put him out in the bush this way. Hopefully he goes out that way and he keeps going out that way. I'm a bit bummed about that one. He went straight into this bush, and it was actually quite a pretty snake. It had some nice banding on it. I'm pretty sure it was a Dugite. 99.9% sure it was a Dugite. Another relocation done before my holiday. Sick. So the tub looks fairly good. I have maybe a little bit more hopes for it now, but today we cleaned out this area here and we're going to turn that into a veggie patch. Now I'm going to go, well, I'll show you what it looks like. So this is it. It's set like rock now on the other sides. I've tightened this bit on so it's holding it on quite well. Pack the inside with it, so hopefully it works well on the inside. And now I'm just going to take one of these fittings to Bunnings and see if I can get a piece to connect this to a hose or a tap, and then I'm going to try and fill it up tonight. But for this video it won't be in here. I'm going to leave the video here. Take it easy, stay awesome, and remember, you can't fail if you try. See you later.